Good afternoon. Can you all hear and see me?
I can hear and see you. Can you hear us?
I can indeed. Yay.
Okay, and we are live streaming, so
Perfect.
good.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I see someone has joined from their phone. Dr. Anderson, is that you? I know you mentioned you were going to have to.
No, it's actually Member Hess. I was able to dial in today. I didn't think I'd be able to, but if you can
Gotcha.
hear me, I'll just dial in on the phone if that'll work out great.
Yeah, that works great. Thank you. Hello, Ray. We've got folks joining. Can you hear and see me? I can see you
Yes, thank you.
and can hear you. Great.
Good.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Cindy. I can see and hear you. And so far, we have Natalie, Cindy, Ray, and Mark is on the phone.
Yeah, I was like, I was gonna remind Lisa and I forgot to remind her.
I thought you said 3:30 at one point, and I was like, oh no, 3. I was just dropping the on-call phone off to my daughter.
And Jim, I was going to say, I can hear, I think, Jim, you were circled with green. I think it was you that was just unmuted.
Yeah, but don't know why my camera's not working.
Your camera is working right now. I can see
Okay.
you and hear you.
It's not showing us. So,
That's always a little unsettling.
yeah.
Hmm.
See. There we go.
Right.
Oops. Back off.
The further away from the camera, the better I look. So
Sure.
All right, Jim. So we can see your group and we can hear you right now.
Oh. I will mute us so we don't say something wrong for a while.
Chair Bean, I believe I just saw you hop on.
I'm here.
You
Sharman.
are here. Great. We have Member Hess on the phone, and we also have Member Frederick, Member Clark, and Member Hoover. And Member McCulka also planned to join, and I believe Dr. Anderson may have to be on the phone when she joins. And I see Member McCulka just joined.
We got the band.
And I do believe that I see representation from each college with a program being reviewed today, as well as Fort Hays Tech Northwest that has a modification to their Excellence ETE fees.
Yeah. I guess it is 3. I thought I was early to the party. So thanks everyone for joining. We'll go ahead and call the meeting of the Kansas Post-Secondary Technical Education Authority Technical Program and Curriculum Committee meeting to order. Whew, say that 5 times late in the day. Welcome everyone to the May 15th curriculum meeting. We have a hefty item. Thank you everyone for all the detailed justifications that you sent in with your program request. I really appreciate that and enjoyed reading them. But first on the agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from the March 13th committee meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the March 13th committee meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Ray. Cindy, was that you? I'll take that as a second.
It was.
Anyone disagree? All right, we'll consider the minutes from the March 13th meeting approved. All right, this is going to be the Sharman show for a bit as we turn it over to her for item 3 on the agenda for our discussion items for program approval. So Sharman, I'll turn it over to you for the first Washburn Institute of Technology request for HVAC.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We did receive a request. We usually review programs in alphabetical order by institution, but Washburn Tech has some early afternoon commitments for their graduation ceremonies today. So if it is all right with the committee, it would probably be helpful that once we go through their program, we also touch on their Excellence ETE fees as well as their Promise Act requests, so that then they would be able to hop off if that will work for everyone. This HVAC request is a program expansion from their current Cert B to add the additional 3 exit points of a Cert A of 24 hours, Cert C of 48, and an Associate of Applied Science for 63 credit hours. This result was a direct result of their discussions with their advisory committee to offer additional exit points, and the current Cert B will actually be sunsetted once these other certification awards are in place. This is a program that has been aligned system-wide, and Washburn Tech indicates that they intend to continue to meet that. They've included letters of support from high schools as they will be providing the coursework to high school students. That's part of one of the requirements. This is a high demand, high wage occupation, and you have the data there as well for that. On the most recent Perkins Local Needs Assessment for the Topeka region, there were 45 concentrators compared to 77 annual openings for the occupation. We have 3 letters of support for the program and interviewing graduates for available positions, as well as serving on the advisory committee are part of their supports offered. There's currently 13 institutions offering this program, and you have your your KPIP data there in the on the next pages as well. They did not seek collaboration because this is an existing program expansion. They're estimating the initial cost at $209,715, and the majority of that is for their existing full-time faculty of $171,465. And I saw several folks from Washburn Tech on the line as well. We would stand for questions.
Thank you, Sharman. Any additional comments from the Washburn crew?
I just want to say hi, Marie Hall. I'm the Assistant Dean over Curriculum. Dean Smathers has joined us. I believe Dr. Chaz Havens is on the call, and he is the Assistant Dean who supervises this program area, and then our instructor, Cody Bouclair, as well. So just thank you for your time. Thank you for letting us go first. We had 2 commencement ceremonies yesterday and 2 today that we're rushing off to. But as Sharman said, this change really was directly in response to our advisory board member input. We already had that Cert B at 43 credit hours, so we were just shy of the Cert C to begin with. And in those conversations, we just really looked at restructuring, gain the foundation and residential skills in year 1, so that some students, can enter in with an industry partner who would rather continue their training on the job, and then the second year being more advanced, and then some of those commercial skills. So we're excited about the change and think it's what's best needed from what we've heard from our local business partners that we work with.
Thank you. And also good luck with the commencement or graduation ceremonies. Exciting time of the year for everyone, I'm sure.
It very much is.
Any questions from the committee members?
This is Ray. Does this program prepare the individuals to take the journeyman exam?
Cody, do you want to respond to that one? I know you're on this call.
Yeah, it does not prepare them to take the journeyman's exam due to the amount of hours they need in the field in addition to tech. So it doesn't directly prepare them to take the test.
I think that's unfortunate.
Any other questions from the committee? Sharman, how about, hearing no additional questions, how about we can loop this all into one motion? How about you discuss the CTE fees and the Promise Act for Washburn's request?
Sure. We have on page 19 of the packet is where we have the Excel and CTE fees for Washburn Institute of Technology for this program. They total $572, and we can always provide, if the committee would like, the breakdowns for all of the other institutions that offer it. But we thought with this many programs, it might just be useful to know that this is offered by the 12 other institutions, and the total fees currently range from $10 to $2,004.
Any questions from the committee about the fee structure for the HVAC program? All right, why don't you put a bow on it with Promise Act?
All right, great. This occupation falls under the advanced manufacturing and building trades specified in the legislation, and it is a high demand, high wage occupation, so it meets the requirements for the Promise Act.
All right, thanks, Sharman.
Sure.
One more call for questions from the committee.
Mike, this is Deb McCulka, and I will abstain from voting on this one.
Okay. Good to see you. All right, hearing no additional questions, I will entertain a motion to approve Washburn University's Institute of Technology program request for HVAC. That would be a technical certification A Technical Certification C and an Associate of Applied Science. Coupled with that, approve their Excel and CTE fees for the HVAC program, and also the eligibility for the Kansas Promise Act. Place all of that on the consent agenda.
So move.
Thank you, Ray. Is there a second?
Cindy, that's the second.
Thank you, Cindy. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Congratulations, Washburn Institute of Technology. And those 3 items will be placed on the consent agenda. Good luck with your ceremonies this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Thanks for working around our schedule.
It'll cost you.
I understand.
All right, Sharman, let's move to item 2 on the discussion of the agenda, Garden City Community College's request for construction technology.
Thank you, Chair Bean. And I have just thought of another slight modification that I would like to make, and I apologize, but I have President Shears on the phone, and I believe that he moved some of his prior engagements to be here. And if it would be all right with the committee, it might be helpful to take a look at their modifications to their Excel and CTE fees. These start on page 20 of the packet. This is a slightly one-off scenario, if you will, in that they have already submitted their Excel and CTE fees, and they were reviewed by the TEA in January. When I'm approached by an institution that says, hey, we have some pretty significant changes, how do we get this approved? This is actually our process to approve that. Fortunately, in this particular case, they are making some rather hefty reductions to their Excel and CTE fees. And while I feel fairly confident that the committee and the authority would be in approval of those, I would not dare to speak for you all. So what we have there on page 20 and then the top of 21, their certificate B, they originally submitted fees of $1,290 total, and they have updated that, and that will now total $691.87. And then for their certificate C and their associate degree, you can see that it now totals $1,308.87. Originally, what was submitted was $2,369 worth of fees for their Excel and CTE students in these programs, in these award levels within this program. And President Shears, I know I saw you. I just wanted to be mindful of your schedule as well. I'm sure that he would stand for questions.
Well, Sharman, I appreciate the audible. So any questions about Fort Hays Tech Northeast adjustments in Excel and CTE fees for their electrical technology program?
Just more curious than anything, what was kind of the biggest reduction? What's causing the reduction in the fees?
Yeah, you bet. I appreciate taking the chance to kind of visit about this and jumping up on the agenda. It was perfectly fine to wait in line, but I appreciate that. I'll tell you quite honestly, it was because when we reviewed the fees last year, we stuck out like a sore thumb. When I saw the list and I saw we were a little bit out of alignment with the other programs, then we went back to the faculty members. I started talking to our instructors and say, why are we so far out of line with this thing? And so through some just collaborative conversations there, they said, we really like the book set that they were using at the time, but they were willing to explore alternative options and work with the AGC on some additional stuff within CCER curriculum and really look for some ways which we could lower those costs down. And so really, that's really it in a nutshell. It was really just instructor conversations with me about how we could get those back into better alignment. We've been trying to do that with a lot of our other programs as we've had industry sponsors that have come on board and have stepped up and helped with some of the classroom sets and classroom equipment. I'll give a shout out, obviously, to Board of Regents TEA for some of the grant support that's come through in recent years for toolkits. We've been a beneficiary of that quite a few times to be able to help with classroom kits that we're providing for our students that are going through those tech pathways, automotive being one of those, where we now have 11 classroom kits of tooling and equipment. So just looking to see how we can sharpen the pen, pull industry partners to the table, and figure out ways that we can make it work for the kiddos.
I want to say thank you for that, because that's a lot of the reasons why we do compare these and we look at this kind of holistically. And so I appreciate that you went back and saw that there was maybe a gap there that needed to be fixed. So very much appreciate that.
You bet.
I 100% agree. Thank you, Ben, and your faculty for having the interest to make the adjustment. So.
Hey, Ben, Ray Frederick.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
On your new opportunity or challenge, whatever.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Boy, well deserved. And I just hadn't had a chance to say congratulations. So it's good to see you.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Any other questions related to the Excel and CTE fee request? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve Fort Hays Tech Northwest. Ben, I still want to call it something else. So Excel and CTE fees for electrical technology, Cert B, Cert C in the associate's degree, and place it on the consent agenda.
He's used to being called something else, so that's not a
That is true. That is true.
So moved, Mike. It's Deb.
Thank you, Deb. We have a second?
I will enthusiastically second.
Cindy, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We'll consider the motion approved and placed on the consent agenda. Thanks for joining us, Ben, and again, congratulations on your new appointment.
Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody's support on this.
All right, Sharman, I'm ready this time in case you want to audible again. So
I think I'm okay this time to actually go back to the plan, and that would take us back, I believe, to page 7 of our agenda. This is for Garden City, and this is also a program expansion of their existing, they're expanding their construction program. They are expanding from a Cert A to add the Cert B at 31 hours, Cert C at 46, and the Associate of Applied Science at 60 credit hours. They have some interesting things going on out in their area, and I'll let them speak to that, but they are expanding due to quite a bit of work that's going on with a number of stakeholders in that area, and they need to address their current housing shortage, and they're estimating that they are going to be needing to create 390 housing units per year in their city of Garden City. So this program is one that has gone through the alignment process. Garden City also indicates they intend to continue to meet that alignment. They've also included a letter of support from a local high school, and that's partially required if they intend to offer the programs to high school students. Again, construction is a high demand, high wage occupation. The CLNA from 2024 lists carpentry as a current offering with too few concentrators for the current job openings. 5 letters of support were included with the proposal, and they are offering internships, scholarships, prioritizing graduates in their hiring processes, serving on the advisory committee, etc. There are 15 institutions currently offering the program. And again, Garden City also explained that they did not seek collaboration with other institutions since this is an existing program for them. They're estimating the initial cost at $107,500 for the startup for the first year, and $75,000 of that is for their existing full-time faculty. I know that I saw Dr. Malone and perhaps some other folks on from Garden City, and we would stand for questions.
thank you, Sharman. Any additional comments from the Garden City Community College team?
Thank you, Sharman. And I'm also joined by Chuck Pfeiffer, our Dean of Technical Education and Workforce Development. We don't have anything specifically to add other than we're excited for this expansion opportunity. We work with a great many industry partners. One of them that's perhaps most valuable to us is Southwest Kansas Builders Association, and they submitted a letter of support for this and the other program on our agenda today. They represent over 100 area businesses who are all very much in support of this, and they have been in support of our Certificate A, and they look forward to the expansion. Happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee members? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve Garden City Community College's request for construction technology program expansion related to a technical certification B, a technical certification C, and an associate of applied science, and place that on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Cindy. Second.
Thank you, Ray and Cindy. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you, guys. All right, Sharman, let's stay out west with another request from Garden City Community College specific to their electrical technology proposal.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This would be a new program for Garden City Community College. They're proposing a Certificate B of 31 hours, a Certificate C for 46, and an Associate of Applied Science for 64 credit hours. Again, this is part of their work with, as Dr. Malone mentioned, the Southwest Kansas Builders Association and a number of stakeholders there in the city of Garden City to really work on addressing their housing shortages and to establish their construction trade center at Garden City Community College. Again, electrical technology is one of our aligned programs, and Garden City plans to continue to meet that statewide alignment. They've included a letter of support from a local high school as well. This happens to be a program that the education for occupation entry includes an apprenticeship, and Garden City indicated that they do plan to wait for a full-time faculty member to be hired at this time before formalizing their internship requirements within the program. This is a high demand, high wage occupation as well. And the Perkins CLNA indicates post-secondary pipeline shortages in the electrical technology field. We have 5 letters of support for the program. These include serving on the advisory committee, prioritizing the program graduates, donations, scholarships, internships, and so forth. We have 13 institutions offering this program, and you have your KTIP data in your packet. They also contacted Dodge City Community College regarding collaboration because they also offer this program. They do intend to facilitate faculty collaboration between them, and they agree that their labor market data in that area represents a serious shortage of trained employees. They're estimating the initial cost of the proposed program at $95,500 total, and $75,000 of that would be for new full-time faculty for the program. And we'd stand for questions.
Thank you, Sharman. Any additional comments from the Garden City Community College team?
Don't have any specific points to raise. I know Sharman teed up very nicely our work on a larger construction trades facility, and I did not mention that at all in our previous application, so thank you for discussing that, Sharman. We're excited for the opportunity to really work very closely with the Economic Development Agency out here, Southwest Kansas Builders Association, and others, including the city of Garden City, to seriously address pipeline shortages in our construction and electrical fields. and happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Thanks, Mark. Any questions from the committee members? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve Garden City's Community College Electrical Technology Program request for a technical certification B, technical certification C, and an Associate of Applied Science, and place that on the consent agenda.
So moved. This is Natalie.
Thank you, Natalie. Do we have a second?
Cindy, second.
Thank you, Cindy. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone? Oh, awkward pause for a little bit. Anyone opposed, please say aye. Motion carried. Congratulations, Garden City. But don't leave us. We got a couple more items related to you further in the agenda. All right, Charmin, did you catch your breath? Take a drink of water. How about we travel to Independence Community College for their request for industrial maintenance technology?
Yes, sir. So we have Independence Community College. They are proposing industrial maintenance technology, and they are proposing a certificate A for 29 credit hours and a cert B for 42 credit hours. The need for this program was actually identified while they were conducting their Perkins Local Needs Assessment as a program that is needed but not available in the area. They assembled a BILT, which is their advisory committee, and it stands for Business and Industry Leadership Team, and developed the curriculum. This is another program that's undergone the program alignment process, and Independence indicated they plan to meet that statewide alignment. They also provided a letter of support from a local high school. This is also a high demand, high wage occupation. And we already discussed the CLNA. We have 4 letters of support that were included, and supports include interviewing graduates for available positions, providing internships, serving on the advisory committee, etc. Currently, 7 institutions offering this program based on the SIP code. We have that academic year 23 KTIP data in your packet. And on collaboration, Independence indicated that they talked with and toured facilities at the Neosho County Community College. And they are estimating an initial cost for the program of $136,595 total. $90,000 of that would be for new full-time faculty. A little over $6,000 would be for existing part-time faculty. And I know I saw a couple folks from Independence on, I believe, and we would stand for questions.
Thank you, Charmin. Any additional comments from the Independence group?
Thank you. My name is Taylor Cawshaw. I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs at ICC, and I have our Senior Director for Industry and Employer Engagement, Matthew Kittrell, here with me in my office, and our Division Chair for Business and Technology, Melissa Ashford, is also on the call. I just wanted to share a little bit about our experience with the Business and Industry Leadership Team. We were part of a cohort grant through the Center for Occupational Research and Design that helped guide that process with us. And the voting process that our business and industry employers went through to determine the knowledge, skills, and abilities that they really needed in their employees was helpful for us in defining what certificates would be most helpful. So that helped us refine down to the Certificate A and Certificate B. And I think with that, we would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Taylor. Any questions from the committee members for Taylor or Charmin?
Did you say you have the instructor in the room?
We do not have an instructor hired yet. We have the division chair that the instructor would be under.
Okay, but the gentleman in the back?
This is our Senior Director for Industry and Employer Engagement.
Okay, just curious, what's your background?
My background, I'm a manufacturing engineer. I was also a software application engineer for several years. I did a lot of implementation of manufacturing facilities all over the US and internationally. I feel like I'm a good fit in this role because like here we're starting this business and industry leadership team from scratch. So it was that approach allowed us to go out and just like talk to industry and develop relationships with them and get them in the room. So and we also want to continue not just to have the 2 meetings per year with the group, but also like more frequently so we can keep up on industry trends and if we need to change our what's being taught in the program.
Well, congratulations. You're on the right track and sounds like you've got a good plan in mind. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Mike, this is Deb, and what I'd just say to Indy is that BUILT model has been used quite successfully, and I'm happy to see, or I think it's a real positive for the institution for integrating that into your decision making.
I agree, Deb. Good comment. Any other additional comments or questions from the committee members? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve Independence Community College's request for industrial maintenance technology, technical certification A and technical certification B, and place it on the consent agenda.
Deb, I so move.
Thank you, Deb.
Second.
Thank you, Natalie or Ray. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Hearing none, we'll consider the motion approved. Congratulations, Taylor and Matthew, and thanks for all your work on that. But don't go away. We may have to come back to you for some fee questions here in a bit. All right, Sharman. We're going to take a little trip to Manhappiness here with Manhattan Area Technical College's request for early childhood education.
That's right. So Manhattan Area Tech has requested an early childhood education program. This would include a Certificate A for 18 credits, a Certificate B for 30, and an Associate of Applied Science for 60 credit hours. This proposal is a result of their partnership between the college, Heartland Works, the Manhattan Free Clinic, and Childhood Business Initiative to create the Flint Hills Community Accelerator. This is a slightly different type of model, and I know that we have Jim and his team on. They'll be happy to discuss some of that. Students will be prepared and eligible to sit for the Child Development Associate certification, and this will prepare students to be licensed through KDHE after graduation per their guidelines. This also includes a letter of support from a local high school because they intend to offer this program to high school students. This occupation is a high demand occupation, and Matsy explained on the Perkins Needs Assessment that there were 56 annual openings and a task force was formed to identify the lack of childcare in the area. They've included 3 letters of support for the program. Supports include donation of property for the building for $2 per year rent for a period of at least 10 years, assistance with scholarships, internships, assisting students to find employment, and financial and equipment donations as well. We have 13 institutions that currently offer this program based on zip code and title, and we have that data there as well. This collaboration took place with the stakeholders that I mentioned earlier, and during the 10-day comment period, a letter was received from Cloud County Community College, and they had discussions. The president met with Cloud County Community College's CAO to discuss collaboration and the difference in the 2 programs. Both of those letters are in the attachments for the program, I believe. And if not, we can get those. Now I can't remember. I apologize. They're proposing that the initial cost is going to be $6,304,600 total. The vast majority of that is for facility requirements. And again, I know that Manhattan is on the line, and we would stand for questions.
Thank you, Charmin. Any additional comments from the Manhattan Tech team?
So as Sharman said, this is a unique community project that we were asked to be involved with. The chamber, local businesses all came together with the community foundation. I don't know if any of you know Vern Hendricks that runs the community foundation here. The large bulk of the facility construction money comes from state and federal grants through the community foundation. But the partnership reached out to us right away to see if we would take care of the child care education component, as well as this community accelerator, if you will, is also where we can provide some other classes for people that need it in a variety of things. Kansas Works will have a permanent site there as well, and then there'll be a free clinic 1 day a week, if I remember right. We've hired Lisa Isaacson as the director of our project on the child care side. She's here. She's got a ton of experience. Appreciated Cloud's comments. This, like I said, we're responding to a very combined community request for Riley County and Manhattan. And let me turn it over to Lisa quick because she explains this a lot better than I do.
So they brought me on board July 1st of last year. I am the executive director of the Flint Hills Community Accelerator, which is the project that has been described, having the 4 pillars of education, which is MATC, health, which is Flint Hills Manhattan Free Clinic. I'm sorry, they changed their name. And also Kansas Workforce One. So those 3 entities came on board. The 4th piece is the Child Care Business Initiative, which has been built from the ground up. It is one of a kind. It is unique in the fact that it is an incubator project specifically for family child care providers. So with the intent of educating and training them, and they serve about a year within the spaces so that they can learn and they can receive coaching and mentoring and education and training. And then they will transition out either into their own homes or into another viable space to continue providing childcare so that they can have a successful business. Because most of these providers go into the business because they love children, not because they really know anything about business. And so why we have such high turnover is because they simply don't know how to make it go. This project focuses on the business side. So in our in our curriculum outline, we've really put a lot of business aspect to our program here at MATC to help support that for these students.
And the design of the project was put together by daycare providers and users. The construction, it's up at Via Christi, right in front of Via Christi Hospital. It has 8 pods, if you will, that act as incubator sites for this program. So if you're in Manhattan anytime, drive by the hospital, you'll see the construction is on schedule. So this is a very one-of-a-kind project. We're getting already a lot of national attention. Lisa's done great work. They've got a good website on it, and we'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jim and Lisa. I was actually in Manhattan earlier this week and drove by it. It's perfect location, and that spurred me to look at some renderings when I got back home, and it's going to be a beautiful building, a great example of a community-based effort and the great partnerships in Manhattan. Are there any questions from the committee members for Charmin or Jim?
Mike, it's Deb. So the incubator, will there be childcare programs based at the side of the new building in these pods, and then your training, the hands-on training occurs in those incubator pods, or how does that work exactly?
Yes, ma'am. So each one of the suites is an individually licensed family childcare business through KDHE. They each hold their own individual license and run their business in that space. And then when they get ready to transition out, they will be relicensed in their new space. So we've worked very, very close with our licensing surveyors to ensure that we have, covered all of our bases as far as supporting them, and they're very much on board. We want these providers to be paired with all resources from the very beginning so that they can be successful. So while they're in those suites, they have a fully functioning kitchen because they also need to provide nutritional meals for the children, and they'll have to, some of them may have to learn to do some cooking because that is a part of running a family childcare business and learning how to balance that. So they will be providing the meals within those suites and all of the activities for the children, and each one of those suites opens to its own outdoor play space. So it's all turf, green turf grass out there, and then a big circle for them to ride tricycles and whatever push cars that they want to play with. And so it's a great space for someone who may be in an apartment and does not yet have a space to go into. They may be waiting for their home to be built. They may be waiting for a home that works for them, or finding a viable space through the community. So it's basically some temporary space where they will be providing care for children. And while they're in that space, caring for children that are enrolled in their business, they will also receive some coaching and mentoring from veteran family childcare providers who have been doing this work for, I would say, anywhere from between 15 and 20 years, some of them. And they are very on board with coming in and giving their expertise to these, first year family childcare providers.
There is a classroom in the facility for some of the classes. The curriculum is a hybrid approach. We already have over 30 students at Manhattan High School signed up for the classes there, but this project adds more space for them to do the practicums and observations and things and move into the workforce.
And the courses are offered in the evenings. So if they are providing care in a business, whether they are in the childcare suites or the community, they will be able to access the courses Monday and Wednesday evenings from 6 to 9 is when they'll be held. So
and they'll be
after the hours of their operation.
They'll be charging for the services for taking care of the kids, but that helps make this sustainable in paying back the utility costs and other things for the building. So it's like I said, it's a very unique design, and we'll see how it goes.
So you'll have the kids, so the high school kids, so you're projecting 24 students. And you've got, was it 8 pods or 6?
8.
8 pods. So you'll have to have at least one, depending on number of students in that daycare providers. I'm trying to figure out how the pods and then the classroom at night works.
Well, the high school students will take the classes at the high school as dual credit.
Okay.
Okay. The space on the site will be used for those providers running their businesses, getting help, but it's also open to others who may want to come in for the curriculum, for the training. Lisa's been working well through our adult ed program to tap into a lot of the minority areas of the community to help make them aware of this. We've had really good, I think we've trained over 1,200, 1,300 people on ESL in the last few years. So everybody's seeing this as kind of a way to help spur both, as she said, in-home and childcare center development.
It sounds like a really unique and kind of cool model there. So yeah, I'll have to come to Manhattan and see it one of these days. That's really interesting.
I'd be happy to give you a tour. The building will be open in August. So yep, come on by.
The community foundation is picking up half of the cost of the personnel. We're picking up the other half. So it's been a good partnership.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Yeah, this is Ray. I definitely like the holistic approach. I think that'll be a big advantage. But Jim, I'm curious, what's the status with the collaboration with Cloud?
Well, they have, I think their program is transfer. I forget right offhand. We share a service area in Geary County and Clay County. They were concerned about how much would we be marketing. Right now we have enough interest, demand here in Riley County. I'm not going out doing aggressive marketing is what I told them. I'm not going to turn somebody away from those areas if they come to us first, but I'm not going to go saying, come to us instead of going to Cloud.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
Any other questions for Charmin or Jim? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve Manhattan Area Technical College's early childhood Education request for a technical certification A, a technical certification B, and an Associate of Applied Science, and place it on the consent agenda.
Cindy, so moved.
Ray, I'll take your motion, and Cindy, I'll take your second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Nice work, crew.
Thank you.
All right, Sharman, let's stay in Manhappiness with Manhattan Area Technical College's request for plumbing technology program.
Yes, sir. And I will just also mention that I will update the packet for the TEA just to include that letter from Cloud County Community College as well as the response from Manhattan so that we have all of that together the way that we should. For plumbing technology, Manhattan is requesting a certificate A for 19 credit hours, a cert B for 38, and an Associate of Applied Science for 62 credit hours. They explained that this plumbing program has been requested in their area for several years due to retirements and so forth. They have a letter of support from a local high school. They plan to offer this to high school students. They also explained that to facilitate the on-the-job training time, they've established work with 9 business and industry sites that are willing to host students for their occupational work experience courses, creating 27 available spots each semester for that portion of it. This is a high demand, high wage occupation for the state. The comprehensive local needs assessment showed 0 concentrators, identifying plumbing as a program that was needed but not offered. We have 4 letters of support included in the application, and those supports include internships and apprenticeships, engaging with instructors and students, donations, and serving on the advisory committee. We have 6 other institutions currently offering this zip code, and Manhattan explained that efforts were made to collaborate with both Washburn Tech and Fort Hays Tech Northwest regarding this program. They're estimating the initial cost of the program at $312,400, and $200,000 of that is for the equipment and tools. That's the vast majority of it. And again, they are still on the phone, and we'd stand for questions.
Thank you, Sharman. Any additional comments from the Manhattan Tech team?
The one I'll make is that we didn't have room for this program until we put in the new building. So that's why it's finally coming. And Ray, I have my plumbing instructor here because I knew you would have questions.
Well, I'll ask the same question that I often ask. Will this program prepare individuals to sit for the journeyman exam?
So what I do is I get them to where they can take the test, but they have a requirement for hours to be an apprentice before they can do the journeyman. So yes, I'm preparing them, but it's going to be a while before they can actually take the test.
So tell me more about that requirement.
They have to have 2,000 hours before they can take and apply for the journeyman's license.
Well, actually, they can set for the test anytime. So they can, for example, they complete your program, even though they've not met the experience requirement yet. They'll get 1 year credit for the program. They can go ahead and take the test, and then if they pass it, then they can just keep that in their back pocket until they fulfill that other year of experience. But the test will be done and out of the way for them. And sometimes, the best time to take the test is when you've just finished the course.
You're correct.
So yes, we are preparing them to take the test.
Good. That as a business owner, that's just they've got a leg up for anyone else making an application. If they come in and say, I've taken the test, all I need is 1 more year experience to get my certificate. So their name goes pretty close to the top.
Any other additional questions from the committee? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve Manhattan Area Technical College's request for a plumbing technology technical certification A, technical certification B, and an associate of applied science, and place that on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Thanks, Ray. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Cindy. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Manhattan Tech.
Thank you. And Sharman, thank you and the crew for helping us.
Sharman, before we move on, I know Jim just thanked you, but I do want to thank the colleges and you before we move into these other two items, just how thorough the requests are coming in. I can remember when I started working on this committee, we spend a lot of time answering questions, and now those questions have been answered for us even before we have our committee meetings. So thank you, Sharman, and thanks to all the colleges for their work on the applications.
Well, actually, Chair Bean, you just teed me up for an audible that I had planned to let the committee know. I know, I apologize, but the timing is just perfect, and we did not plan this. But to your point specifically, something that we've done as KBOR staff is to try to, as we work on program proposals with institutions and as we have these discussions in the committee, we've tried over the years to make additional updates to that program proposal format so that institutions can actually hopefully answer the questions that the authority is going to have proactively in their proposals. So we've made yet again a few more additions actually this year. And a couple of those updates include providing some examples of how they should discuss that work-based learning component that would be required for some of these occupations. So when an apprenticeship is required, identifying how they have worked with business and industry to tee that up and make sure that that space is available for their students with their employer partners. Another addition that we made this year was actually providing a structure, a methodology in the application so that institutions can provide some data on the job opening and wages expected not only for the program as a whole, but for the actual award levels that they're proposing. They're not going to be terribly pleased with me for this, but we want to know, for instance, if the occupation needs typically an associate degree and we are proposing a certificate A, let's get some data around those jobs that are waiting for those students at that particular level of education. So we've tried to make that easier and provide a way to kind of provide that information. So we've updated this form actually on the website. We sent that out to the institutions on the 7th of this month. We also let them know that we have that draft schedule for their proposals because they are working on proposals right now and will actually be submitting them in no later than July for our first round of committee meetings when we resume in the fall. We're also doing a webinar on the 5th of June, and we'll provide a recording of that for anyone who's unable to join. So that was something else that I had just made a note of that I wanted to let the committee know.
Thank you, Sharman. And honestly, Sharman and I hadn't talked before to tee her up. So
nope.
I appreciate the continuous improvements of the application and all the college's efforts to answer questions that we have. Let's travel to item B for the one item we have remaining on the Excel and CTE fees, the Industrial Maintenance Technology Program from Independence Community College.
Yes, that's right. So in your packet, that's on page 20. for the Industrial Maintenance Technology Program for the Excel and CTE fees being proposed by Independence Community College. They're going to total $210. You can see the breakdown there. This program offered by 4 other institutions, those total fees that range right now is anywhere from $10 to $1,259 total. So this is within that range.
Thank you, Charmin. Any questions or comments from the committee members? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve Independence Community College's industrial maintenance technology, Excel, and CTE fees and place it on the consent agenda.
So moved. It's Deb.
Thank you, Deb. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mark or Cindy. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion approved. Congratulations, Independence, if you're still on the line. All right, Charmin, I'm going to propose, since all of these programs under item C qualify, I will propose that if you have anything else to add, Charmin, to that?
I do not actually. They all qualify for the Promise Act based on the category, and they are all high demand, high wage, with the exception of early childhood, which we all sort of wish was also high wage, but it is high demand, so they all meet the requirements.
Well, I will propose we bundle. We already approved item 1. I propose we bundle items 2 through 6. Approve those Promise Act requests and place that on the consent agenda. Deb, I see you nodding. Is that your motion?
Yes.
I knew it was. Is there a second?
This is Cindy. I second.
Thank you, Cindy. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. I do want to apologize for my text message dings during the call. That, very seldom, those of us who have children, very seldom do they reach out for advice. And our youngest has been reaching out today, which I hate to lose the mojo because she'll ghost me quicker than I can respond. So I apologize for that. Our next committee meeting is August 7th. And then our next full authority meeting is May 29th. And Charmin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's an in-person meeting here on the 5th floor.
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. Any other items committee members want to bring forward? If not, in awkward silence, we'll consider this meeting adjourned. Thank you guys very much. Thanks to the colleges that joined us today. Thanks for Charmin helping us work through this efficiently. And thanks to the committee members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.